So from that standpoint of how the practices, are going and still all the distancing that's going on and what they can do by the time we get to basketball, how much do you think the lower seeds could have a chance at some of the higher seeds just because of the unknown of all of this?
Well, I'll tell you what, the team I'm concerned about is the Houston Rockets. They got 3 players that aren't here. 2 of them are superstars, and Russell Westbrook, who acknowledged that he had COVID yesterday, and James Harden's not here, Luka Mbamute as well. So they're in a precarious position because they're in the 6th spot, but they're only a game and a half ahead of Dallas, who they play in their first game on July 31st. So, if the Rockets don't get their guys here quick, start getting gelling and getting ready like all these other teams are, they're in jeopardy of getting leapfrogged by Dallas, finishing 7th, and perhaps playing the Clippers in the first round. So that they're a team that I'm really, really looking at as a team in trouble right now, who a lot of people are high on. But in terms of the 8th seed, like Memphis has 3 games on those other teams. So to me, the only team I'm looking at that could potentially mess with them is Portland, who I think is also perhaps a dangerous team if they make it to the postseason as well.
Talking to Marc Spears with us, our ESPN NBA writer with the Undefeated here on Golic and Wingo. And one of the other facets to the return to play in the NBA bubble was the social justice and the emphasis on that messaging from players. It was something that was important to a lot of people. And we've seen the reaction in recent days as Anthony Davis and LeBron James announced that they won't be wearing any of the preordained messages that players can put on the back of their jerseys. And I wonder, based off that in general, what's the reaction been from players that you've talked to about the overall league approach to this that they've seen so far to that end?
Well, I guess there's no utopia to it. They didn't get everything they wanted. You're not going to see George Floyd on the back of the jerseys or, fight the power, things like that. There are close to 30 messages. I guess there was a happy medium, which some of the players weren't happy about. Not just being able to pick what they want, but I'm still pretty impressed with it. I think when the games start and you see guys with these different terms on these social messages on the back of the jerseys, I think it's going to be amazing to see. I talked to Kyle Korver about having, Black Lives Matter on the back of his jersey, and as a black man to see a white man put that on the back of his jersey to show that it matters to him means a tremendous amount to me. So I know there are some people like, it's just a message. But to me, like, when these games start and you got kids and people walking all over and watching from all over the world, there might be a kid that's, I think, potentially in a racist environment, in a racist home. But if you love this player and that player tells you Black Lives Matter or, vote or, I am a man, which is what Mike Conley has on the back of his jersey, perhaps they research and they get more enlightened and maybe even change as a person or change from their environment. So I do think that with everything that the players are going to do from a social justice standpoint, even if it changes, it's going to change more than a handful of minds. And I think perhaps some of the guys may even have some regrets later by not doing it. Everybody has their own prerogative, but I think it's a brilliant idea, and it's certainly going to be beautiful to see once they start action on the 30th.
We're talking to Marc J. Spears, senior NBA writer from The Undefeated. Stick there for a second, Marc, because some prominent players were concerned going into the bubble that it would take away some of the conversation about social justice. And now we sit in a world where we are talking about quarantine and quarantine life and the videos that players are posting. So now that you're in the bubble and players are in the bubble, how concerned are they that even when they get back on the court that their message will be somewhat quieter?
Well, it's up to them. I mean, every time they talk to the media, they can mention it. That's what Chris Paul, who's president of the Players Association, wants you to do. Hey, somebody has Black Lives Matter on the back of their jersey. They scored 30. They get interviewed after the game. Hey, before I talk about my game, let me tell you about what I think about what's on the back of my jersey. There are going to be things on the floor. There's going to be scrolls around the basket saying things. There's going to be PSAs. I think there's going to be commercials that you'll see that will definitely have that kind of message to it. I wouldn't be shocked if LeBron James, even if he without the social justice message on his jersey, has some kind of plan or thing that he's doing on his own. So I don't see if there's a wasted opportunity, it's because of the player wasted it. Because I think they'll get ample opportunity to show it. And you guys know, man, like you certainly have a louder message when you're in front of the camera and on the mic than when it's turned off. So I think it's really up to the player to take advantage of it.
Time will tell, and we see what goes on as they stay in the bubble and as games start, but you still have some quarantine time left. We had Malika Andrews on when she was just starting where you are, and she said one of her ways to pass the time was going to be Zooming with her family playing Scrabble. So what is your time-consuming thing that you're going to be doing while you're sitting there waiting?
Well, I brought my wine with me from Napa. I brought my wine suitcase. So I can't do too much of that. I got to do that in moderation. I did bring my PS4. My favorite game, believe it or not, is MLB The Show. But I forgot the dang cord for the bat. I brought the wrong cord. So I had to Amazon the cord. And I don't know when I'm going to get this dang cord. So if somebody could, hook me up with a cord, I'd appreciate it. So right now, man, I guess I've been watching a lot of MLS soccer, which has been tough, but I've been doing that.
Wow. Someone get the man a cord.
We need to be able to, Hunger Games airdrop things in to everyone inside the bubble.
That defeating moment where you realize that you got the wine there, but you forgot the one thing you need to play the game.
Wow.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.